Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Kuby with the CSAC BEAM resource team, and welcome to the BEAM Module 2 office hours. Right now we have about, just went up. We have 12 people participating, so welcome everybody. We'll just go through some housekeeping things at the beginning, then we'll get into a few of the questions that have kind of come up, and then we can open it up for some Q&A for folks on the line today. So just a reminder that the BEAM office hours are really every other week, and they're here to take questions and answers related to the various BEAM modules. So as you can see, I brought the calendar up here. Hopefully at this point we've worked through Module 2, which was the orientation to the financial benchmarking tool. We had a kind of a target date to make sure that you've worked through this of last Friday or October 30th. So remember, these right here are just kind of the target dates to get you kick-started on, or make sure that you've reviewed that module by that point, and then the office hours associated with it. So that's where we are now at Monday, November 2nd. So we're working into next time being Module 3, or the indirect costs. So the next office hours would be Monday, November 16th. The questions that we've received to date have been pretty light associated with the actual content of the modules. We have had some questions related to just some technical things associated with BEAM and the LMS system, and those questions really have been handled during the various 2 weeks with each individual. So hopefully folks are getting their technical questions answered. Obviously, when we open it up, if there's some additional ones that you want to bring forward, please feel free. But at this point, I think most of them have pretty much been answered. So hopefully folks are moving along with the various modules and aren't getting hung up in any of the technical aspects associated with it. The couple of questions that we did have associated with Module 2 were related to the financial benchmarking tool. So I just wanted to touch on them really briefly, some of which are into a little bit more depth as you get into the various modules. But I'm going to take us over to the benchmarking tool. So in Module 2, a lot of time was spent by Chris Copeland going through the quick analysis tab of the financial benchmarking tool. And a couple of questions that came out associated with that were just what are the underlying assumptions for the fee-for-service versus salaried staff, direct care staff, and how does that work in the benchmarking tool? So just wanted to take a second to go to those tabs on the tool to just remind folks where they are in the tool. So now I'm on the tab called Employee Direct Care. So this would be for salaried direct care staff. This is where you'd be putting in your information associated with those individuals that are salaried and providing the direct care for the clinic. So you'd be able to see if the person is fully supporting the clinic, they'd be a 1.0 FTE, and then you'd take into account if they're full direct care or a portion of their time is related to direct care. The contracted or fee-for-service staff, there's another tab for that, and that's actually just called fee-for-service or contracted direct care. It looks very similar to the salaried direct care staff area. So this is the tab where you'd be entering information associated for those folks that are providing direct care but are not salaried employees of the clinic. So hopefully that covers any quick questions at this point associated with some folks that had some area that they wanted a little bit more clarity with that from the questions. The next question was related to vacation time in the benchmarking tool, and really this is taken into account with productivity and the billable percent. So I'm going to flip over to the tab. Oh, I went too far, sorry about that. In the model analysis tab of the financial benchmarking tool. So really right here, this percent of billable hours to paid hours would take into account any vacation time and any supervision time that would need to be taken into account when working through the financial benchmarking tool. Both of these questions that we've really talked about will be gotten into it with a lot more depth in Module 4, which is the direct care cost module, so a couple modules down the road. The only other question that we got related to the benchmarking tool was just really when it's due. And right now we have a tentative due date of the last week of December, the first week of January for submission of the financial benchmarking tool. Obviously, as we kind of get closer and closer to that time period, we'll firm that date up with everybody so you have a good appreciation of when we're looking to have the tool submitted. We do have just a few folks on the line, so we have 13. Those were the only questions that we received related to Module 2. So I can kind of open it up and unmute everybody if folks do have any other questions that they'd like to bring up at this time. All right, everybody is unmuted, I believe. So if there's any questions that folks had, maybe since the questions were submitted or that they've thought of as we've kind of been walking through things this afternoon, feel free to kind of shout them out. And if we can't answer them here, obviously we take them back, get them answered, and send them out to the group. Any questions at this point? I didn't see any through the chat function. Okay, I think we might have another quick office hour here, so maybe it's an office 15 minutes. We should start calling them. Again, any questions, feel free to just to shout them out now, but it sounds like everybody's feeling pretty comfortable working their way through the various modules with their teams. Again, a reminder that the next module that you'd be working on would be Module 3, which is the indirect costs component. Looking to be working on this over the next week or so, no later than, I brought the calendar back up, then Friday the 13th, November 13th, with our next office hours 2 weeks from today, or Monday, November 16th at noon. Just a reminder that we also will be sending out email reminders with kind of the heads up again on what you should be working on, where you should be, just so folks have an appreciation for that kind of status update and that tickler to make sure that they're moving forward with the various modules and their teams. Again, one more time, I'll open it up for any questions related to the various modules, the process, the flow, technical questions as well. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape then. I want to thank everyone for participating, hopping on for we didn't even make it 15 minutes, 10 minutes here for the office hours, but it sounds like everybody's in pretty good shape. Again, if questions come up after this, feel free to email, and we will get back to you as soon as possible, if not at the next office hours on November 16th. Thank you, everybody.